Hey everyone, this is Matthew Davis, and this is my concept mapping video on self-regulation. As you can see, I've also added my reference right here. This is a reference to our textbook in which I pulled all the information from. Self-regulation. Self-regulation involves the consistent and appropriate application of self-control skills to new situations. Self-regulation is broken down into three subcategories, or three subgroups. First being the forethought phase, and the forethought phase is subdivided into categories of task analysis, self-motivational beliefs. Task analysis. This includes goal setting. When setting goals, self-regulated learners establish a series of sub-goals that are achievable and provide evidence of progress. Basically, setting goals for yourself and meeting sub-goals, that's kind of a evidence of progress towards your bigger goal. Formulating strategies or strategic planning. Self-regulated learners constantly assess themselves and the demands needed for their goal attainment. So being able to see what's needed of you in order to reach your goal. Under the self-motivational beliefs subcategory of the forethought phase, self-efficacy for self-regulated learning. This pertains to how capable people believe themselves to be about using the self-regulatory process. The second one being consequence of goal achievement. The outcome expectations when achieving a goal. For example, I achieve a goal and I get praise or a different level of prestige. Intrinsic interest in task. Intrinsic interest can maintain motivation for self-regulated learning. Learning versus performance-oriented goals. Learning orientation, people are usually interested in learning for its internal awards, and people with performance-oriented goals usually have a goal to achieve a higher score or a grade than someone else. Epistemological beliefs. This refers to what we believe we know about knowledge and how we come to know things. The second phase of the self-regulation system is the performance phase, which is broken down into two subcategories of self-control and self-observation. The performance phase, first subcategory is self-control. Attention focusing. This involves ignoring distractions and executing a task at a normal pace. Self-instruction. This involves describing to oneself, either silently or out loud, steps of a process. For example, tying my shoes, grab the right lace, grab the left lace, right? Saying it out loud. And tactics, right here under self-control. That's memory directed and comprehension techniques. As far as self-observation goes, the self-observation process increases the awareness of one's performance and the factors that affect it. Recording one's behavior. This can lead to self-experimentation and trying out different forms of behavior. So by recording your own behavior, you're able to examine and see your current behaviors, and this leads to that self-experimentation, and you can kind of veer to trying out new behaviors. The third leg, or the third phase of self-regulation, is self-reflection phase. This comes after both the forethought phase and the performance phase. Just so you do know, take a little mental note that you can go between these two phases multiple times before getting to the self-reflection phase. Back to the self-reflection phase, though, that's broken down into two subcategories, which is self-judgment and self-reflection. The self-judgment subcategory includes evaluating behavior. This is labeling our performance as good or bad. Whenever we label our performance good or bad, we're engaging in self-evaluation. And secondly, attributing outcomes. This involves ascribing a cause to a behavior. For example, student gets a good grade as a result of studying, which was his good behavior. So he's attributing his good behavior to the result of the good grades. And the second subcategory of self-reflection is self-reaction. That is inclusive of self-reinforcement. Self-reinforcement is the self-satisfaction that we get, like that positive feeling we get when we know we've done a good job. After self-reinforcement, drawing inferences about needs to improve self-regulation skills. So what do I need to improve to self-regulate more effectively? So that is my presentation on self-regulation. I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you for watching.